BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
Get this going here. Hey everybody, this is Lisa from BeastNet Podcast, and today we're talking with Joey from More Heart Than Scars. And give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself.
Hello there, everyone. Hello, Lisa. Finally nice to be seeing and talking to you for the first time.
Yeah.
As you said, I am with More Heart Than Scars. I am the Georgia president for More Heart Than Scars. Have been with them for the better part of 6 years, almost 7 now.
That's awesome. You guys were at, was it OCR Addicts, or you're at the race this weekend with Aaron, and how was that for you guys?
Oh, you mean OCR Overload down in
Yes,
Florida?
Overload. Yeah.
Gosh, listen, I'm telling you, the weather could not have been worse. I mean, you know what? Yes, it could have been worse, but it was horrible. I mean, I looked at my watch at one point as we were almost finished, and it said we had 48 degrees, mud that was up to our shin.
Oh my gosh.
The only saving grace was about 10 minutes before we stepped onto the course, the rain actually stopped, but we got like an hour. In an hour, we got 6 inches of rain.
Oh.
So it was not supposed to have water, did, including most of the obstacles with rigs, especially the rigs, had water underneath. So it was almost like, you were having to swing over the water just to avoid it. But,
my gosh.
That was that side of it.
Yeah.
The wonderful thing that happened, as I have always said, everything works out as it should. We did not bring Erica with us on this particular race. We made the call Thursday night.
Yeah.
For her to stay, mainly because of the rain. Even though the forecast said it was going to be up to 68, obviously it never got up to that.
Yeah.
But we had something really wonderful happen. We met a gentleman by the name of Roger, who is high functioning autism, and he was just such a delight. We had the best time with him. He did his first obstacle course race with us. And the first thing he said when it was over was, "When's the next race?" So it worked out. We didn't have Erica, but I knew from the moment I met Roger that was the purpose right there, because he needed our undivided attention. So
yeah,
took him through the course and he loved it.
That's so phenomenal. I read your post about Roger over the weekend, and I quite literally started like dang near bawling when I read it. It was so heartwarming to hear, and just how if he didn't complete an obstacle, he's like, next time touching it, like,
yes,
it totally just got to me.
Oh, it was so inspirational. It truly was.
What More Heart Than Scars does, and helping with like Erica and Roger and everybody else that kind of has struggles when it comes to racing, it's the most heartwarming thing I have seen when it comes to obstacle course racing, are the groups that help those who struggle. And this last weekend, just reading that just was like, that's why we race. That's the reason right there.
It is. And I got to tell you, Lisa, wow. It's almost emotional just thinking about it, because the heart and soul of what we do at More Heart Than Scars is, we've kind of just put it in a nutshell over the last 6 months. Zach and I were talking, and we said, we are in the business of saving lives. And within that, it's also, we hope to bring hope, give hope to those. And Roger could not have been more perfect example of that. Here was this man who, and Kim can attest to this, and James, who was walking along, and the poor guy from childhood, middle school, into high school, he was made fun of. He was called dumb. He was called slow. And he just stopped at one point and he looked at us. He's like, Joey, I'm not dumb. I know what they were saying about me. But, and there was more. And I just even more realized I am right where I need to be, doing my calling in life, because people just like Roger are all over this world, literally, who need purpose, who need to be given a chance to do something they never thought they could in life. And that's what we do. And you know, it just goes hand in hand that we're on tonight and we're talking about my role in Julie's upcoming races as director of sports, or adaptive sports, because it is part of obstacle course racing and life in general that needs more attention.
Yes.
I have vowed the rest of my life to do everything in my power to put adaptive athletes right up there on the pedestal with the top-notch athletes that are in obstacle course racing today.
That is so phenomenal. I was going to ask you about the Phoenix Rising the races and what your role was going to be as the adaptive.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun.
No, it's fine. So how's that role model going to be like for you being that director of the adaptive athletes?
Well, first of all, I have to thank Julie with Phoenix OCR.
Yes.
Phoenix Race OCR, because she's given me this opportunity to step in to do something that I absolutely love. So like for any of the races that she has so far lined up, which we have 4 currently, and I know she's out this weekend looking at some other venues. So hopefully we're going to have more races for her in her race series this year. But my role is, for me, it's simple. It's anybody who wants to come with an adaptive athlete that has a team. I will make sure they have everything they need on course to keep that person safe and to make sure they finish. And I'll be coordinating that. And I in my years with More Heart Than Scars, I've learned so many different safety techniques and things that are must-haves on an obstacle course when it comes to whether someone's in a wheelchair or someone's on crutches or someone has one arm amputee or one leg amputee. You know, there are just certain things you got to have.
Yeah.
To get the person from the start line to the finish line. So
yeah,
that is going to be my role. And I'm very excited because I'm going to be promoting this. And the reception that I've already received from when Julie announced that I was director of adaptive athletics has been overwhelming, and it makes me very happy.
That's so fantastic. And it's something that I think needs to be more prominent with obstacle course racing. We have the regular professional athletes, the competitive athletes, and there's no reason that the adaptive athletes can do the same thing. Like they can totally do it. So pushing that and promoting that is one of the best things I've seen come along with obstacle course racing.
Listen, it's gosh, I mean, like I said, my first taste of working with an adaptive athlete was, I mean, honestly, go back to 1996 for the Atlanta Paralympic Games. I had the wonderful opportunity of working with the Swedish, the Belgium, and the Chinese para-athletic program. So that really just was like a big just wow factor for me, because I got to witness what these people with physical disabilities could do.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, when I got my first chance to work with Zach in More Heart Than Scars with a young man named Michael Mills, I just said, that's it. My days of trying to get on the podium or trying to win the prize money, you know what, that's all gone. This is going to be my purpose from here on out. And, you know, so it's just an amazing thing to do. And I'm excited.
I can totally understand why you're so excited about it. What's the first race for the Phoenix series that you'll be at?
Our first series is going to be April 17th. And I don't even need a cheat sheet. I think I've got them mostly memorized, but yeah, it's going to be April 17th over in Meridian, Mississippi, which is in a phenomenal venue. So I highly recommend, whether you're a competitive athlete or an adaptive athlete who is competitive,
yes,
who wants a great venue. You don't need a skill level. You can come out and you can have fun with it, or you can come out and make it as competitive as you want. So yeah, that was April 17th, Meridian, Mississippi. And we, as a team, More Than the Scars, we will have Erica with us for that one. She's excited because she didn't get to make it with us last year. But for me personally and the team going into that one, we already have an idea of what the course is going to be like. And as I mentioned before, having that knowledge helps me and us as a team to know what to plan for and prepare for. So we're really excited about Julie's race in Mississippi this year.
That's phenomenal. And you posted something about something going on with Jacksonville with the Spartan. Can you give me details about that?
I can tell you what I can tell you at this point. There's some things I just can't give away yet because it is top secret.
Yep.
But one thing I can tell you is, yes, Spartan Race Series, which is going to be their opener for their national series, February 27th, 28th in Jacksonville. We will have a fan favorite, Josh Kohler, coming out. He is coming back from open heart surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, and one of the first things he did when he was able to, I mean, literally, he grabbed his phone and he messages me and says, "When I make my comeback, I want More Heart Than Scars by my side." I said, "Josh, it would be an honor, brother." And we planned for this to be Charlotte. But because this man is a beast and he was already in great shape, but his regimen and his rehab has been so on point that the doctors have given him the green light to come out with us in February for the 27th and 28th, both days. Granted, he can't do much, but the fact he's going to be out there and do what he can, and we'll be with him every step of the way. We'll also have Erica on Saturday in the wheelchair. And then on Sunday, we will have not only Josh and Erica, but we'll also have one of our newest athletes, Chloe. That's Chloe on top.
Yay!
Come on. That was at the Atlanta Spartan last year, where she's going through but so we're very excited. We're gonna have that. But like I said, there are a couple of surprises that I can't reveal just yet. One, honestly, will not be revealed until the day of.
Yeah.
So even me just saying that is gonna, if certain people hear this podcast, but it is going to be a good, wonderful event. And we're teaming up. You know, Spartan is being gracious to us for this, and definitely got to give our kudos to Donnie and John, and especially Garfield, because Garfield has been the go-between, and he is really helping me pull this off. And got to give big praise to Garfield.
That's fantastic. How exciting. I can't wait till the end of the month to find out what everything's going on. And
I wish all you guys, you and Don and you know, all the guys from BeastNet can fly out for this event, but things as they be. I don't know what your travel restrictions over there are right now, but it is going to be a weekend.
You know, travel restrictions, I think that's more based on employments and what your employment says and does and how that reacts. Right now, my travel restriction is my mom's having a back surgery next week. So
wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Keep her in prayers.
Thank you.
All right. And now we're going to take a quick pause so we can hear from our sponsors.
Does your business need first aid, AED, OSHA, flagging, or other safety training? James Safety Services is your one-stop shop. Find them on Facebook today at James Safety Services WA and ask for a quote on hosting your training needs.
And we're back.
We're trying to figure out how we're going to be able to get back to some of the races back there. It's just a matter of time and seeing what happens here in Washington.
I know, because Don, I think we've been talking since, 2019 about trying to team up somewhere.
Yes.
Look, I want to come to the West Coast, and there's still a few Spartan races, especially out there, that I haven't done, and definitely want to try to get out there. And it may be this year.
Fingers crossed.
But we're literally so full here on the East Coast. I mean, not just in the Southeast, but on up into Vermont, into those areas for further in the year. So big things planned for that too. I'm just hoping and praying that we get to do these races this year, because we need to.
Yes, fully agree.
That's another part of my passion, and I know Don and I had talked about that in a previous podcast. And my whole personal mission of bringing more awareness to suicide and the prevention and breaking the stigma, especially just mental health in general.
Yes.
People need to talk about it, and we need our races to happen, because so many, even in our own group, so many of our athletes need their races for their mental health, because for many of them, it is their only outlet.
Yes. Myself included. I totally feel the same way. I can see the difference between 2019, when I was able to race, and this last year where there were no races. It's had a huge impact on my mental health, my physical health, and I'm itching to get back on there. There's something about being on a race course that's therapeutic.
And it's on a sad note, but I need to bring it up because it goes right along with what we're talking about. Just this morning, Amanda Kelly just posted about someone else taking their life. I'm not sure if it was last night or this morning, but unfortunately, it goes, suicide and suicide attempts go hand in hand with addictions. And this person had just gotten out of rehab, and it's sad. It's truly sad, and that's the one thing that I've noticed. And I know Don and I have been doing a lot of the same certifications lately, which is awesome. But in my recent studies, what I've noticed is the teenage rate of suicide and suicide attempts have skyrocketed since 2017. And it's just sad, because especially in 2020, from March of 2020 until now, the isolation is so hard on so many people. Attempted rates have up, and unfortunately, the actual suicide themselves, they're up.
Yes.
Numbers of people going into rehab are up. I've got several friends who are psychiatrists and psychologists. Their offices are full because people are just needing the help, which is so wonderful. People are finally starting to talk about it, but with evidence of what we saw this morning, or what I saw with Amanda posted this morning, was, we're not doing enough. And here again, personal missions is to bring more awareness to that. And something else Don and I have been doing too is we've been doing our daily push-up challenges.
Yes.
He sees mine, and we're just, I'm on a mission. I'm day 250 into one full calendar year, but I first got involved with the 22 a day campaign back in 2013, and I have, for every year and every Wednesday since then, have done the push-ups. And it was only 250 days ago I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start doing my push-ups every day, because the awareness needs to be out there.
Yes. Fully agree with you. I live in a very rural area of Washington State. Like, I'm about as far west as you can get. And our mental health facilities are so busy and so slammed with people. Our psychiatrists and psychologists are completely booked. And a lot of them are kids and teenagers. And it's one of those things where we need to get back to some sort of normalcy. Our kids need to be back into sports and doing the things that kept them busy and mentally healthy. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I've seen what this last year has done to her. And she struggles. She struggles so much, but she pushes through, and she talks about it a little bit to me, but with her friends. And man, it's good that the awareness is getting out there. It's good that people are starting to open up more, but like you said, we need to be more open about it. We need to be more honest about our mental health and the struggles that we go through.
And you're right. And Eric and I have been talking too, because she is a life coach, and she is a trauma informed coach. And one of the things that we've been chatting about, the rise of social media. Yes, it's so good in so many ways, but on the other side, there is so much cyberbullying and just kids destroying. I mean, well, even adults, especially this in the last 3 or 4 months, but we won't even go into that. But just the kids who are just the cyberbullying, and fortunately, the rates of suicide are up more for teenage girls. Because they're trying so hard to fit in and look a certain way, and it doesn't take much for a trigger for them to just, oh, she's fat, or she's not good enough for us, and it's horrible. So yes, we're going to keep pushing forward, and we're going to break this stigma. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get off on that.
No, you're totally fine.
I'm passionate about it, and that is definitely one of them. But getting back to the topic of our conversation is, yes, the adaptive athletic program in OCR, and my position with Julie's races, the Phoenix OCR race. Phoenix Race OCR. She's going to kill me. I got to get that in the right order. Phoenix Race OCR. As I mentioned, we've got the April 17th, and then May the 2nd, which is unusual because that's on a Sunday, but that's going to be in Georgia. Yay. I don't have to go very far for that. And then in June, we've got 2 back-to-back in Georgia. June is also in Georgia. And then in her home, in September is in Chattanooga, and that's September 18th. And that's where they are right now. That's where we are with her races. But like I said, I know she and Jason are scouting at least 2 venues this weekend, maybe more. I'm not sure. I messaged her right before we started the podcast. You want me to talk about tonight other than that? So I didn't have a chance to look, but of course I'm going to plug that, because it's going to be huge, because she is really doing everything she can to bring to the light more of the adaptive athletic program, and I love it.
That's so fantastic. Julie is absolutely amazing. I've talked to her before, and I love everything she's doing. It's amazing how they are making sure that they are following whatever guidelines are set across for whatever state, whatever city, with everything that's going on. And the fact that the adaptive athletes aren't being left behind in that, because I know that was a slight issue this last year in Florida, because Eric and I have talked about that. So the fact that so the fact that they're not being left behind, which is such a huge thing.
Well, yes, and that is one reason I was back and forth with Garfield and Spartan. My having a marketing background myself, my go-to for them was, I'm like, you guys, look at it from our standpoint. Don't you think the world of Spartan and the world in general needs to see inspirational people out on a race course? And it would do us all so much good to see those athletes out on course. And not only would it bring attention to the adaptive athletic community, but just saying to people in general, hey, you know what? With the guidelines that are in place, it's okay. You can come to the races.
Yes.
And so, which has been one of the biggest topics about it is, well, are they really going to have a race? Well, I can tell you they really are 99.5% sure going to have this Jacksonville race, if nothing else. But from what I've seen, everything else is still on the schedule so far. But yeah, because of that last year, and Erica and us, we felt kind of left out, and it's like we understand, but it's almost what do we do about this? But so we just kept plugging away. We didn't lose our cool. We didn't create too much of a hassle for anyone. But thankfully, when I just got the email, I should say, last Thursday, that teams have gotten the go-ahead to come out to Spartan races this year. Obviously following the guidelines in place set by Garfield, by Spartan.
Yeah.
So we'll be staying in our and around our vehicles until it's our allotted time to come up to the start line, and then we'll have our mask on, and then when we get into the corral, we'll take off. So we're just so thankful that Spartan is allowing groups to come onto the course this year. Hopefully some of the other bigger names will also say, all right, if they're doing it, let us do it too. Because in the big picture, and actually Aaron Frank and I, and a couple others were talking about this recently, we need for the bigger races to happen, because whatever the precedents they set, we will have to we'll follow, or the smaller race series will follow. And so we need the big races to happen, and Spartan is definitely one of the big boys out there. So we need Spartan races to happen.
Yes. And Spartan, when it comes to like the bigger races, at least on the West Coast and where I'm at in the Pacific Northwest, Spartan is one of the bigger races. We don't have Savage out here yet. We don't have Battle Frog. We don't
or Battle Frog
we don't have any of them yet. So Spartan's like the main one, and when they get canceled or postponed, it's just like, but that's also where we're trying to start supporting more of the smaller, more local races to kind of keep everybody going. But there hasn't been a chance for any of that to happen. So fingers crossed this year that starts happening more and more.
Yes, we need for the big races to happen. And one of the things that some of the smaller race series kind of wised up to and learned from last year is maybe let's go for some privately owned venues where restrictions aren't quite as bad.
Yeah.
But basic guidelines will still be in place. But so it looks like some of them, and like even for Spartan, they moved Asheville this year to a completely different venue because they were getting some kickback about how many people could be on the course. So they said, you know what, that's okay. We'll search for another venue, and they did. And so we're still all set for Asheville this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think our first race for Spartan here, there's Montana, but Montana's restrictions are different than Washington. But I think it's the Portland race. And I say Portland because it's actually in Washington.
Right. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
That should be our first Spartan race this year. And I really hope that happens. It's Washougal is like it's my favorite venue. It's I call it my homecoming race because that's where I started Spartan. And I missed it last year. Not having that was just such a big bummer. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Major letdown. Yes. We just keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah. How many adaptive athletes are there on the More Heart Than Scars team?
Oh my gosh. Well, but no, let's just say now with the way we have Erica and Ryan and Shannon and Justin and Mark, who are all in wheelchairs. Then we've got like Chloe. She uses us to walk beside, because she has to be arm in arm with someone when she's on the course. When she's not on the course, she's got Kevin. Kevin's her boyfriend. It's her walker on wheels.
That's awesome.
And we've got a couple others who do use arm crutches. We've got Billy, who's a one leg amputee, but he's got his blade, so he really doesn't need our help for much. And a couple others, but we're as one of our things that we really try to get people to understand too is not all wounds are visible.
Yes,
so
very true.
We've got those who are suffering from PTSD, depression, anxiety, those who've been a victim of bullying, abuse as a child and as an adult, social anxiety disorder. And of course, we've got people who are in active recovery in our organization. So adaptive, it kind of is a broad term for us.
Yes.
But I mean, we have those who definitely need assistance on the course, and we will be there for them. And I tell you, one of the best things though is when we get, I'll use Erica because she's done more in the last couple of years. Like we put her on a cargo net or even on a rope climb. She just scoots up those things by herself because she has got tremendous upper body strength. She has really worked hard on that. And she'll be the first to tell you. And then Ryan and Justin and Mark and Shannon, they'll tell you too. They want to be as independent as possible.
Yes.
And we'll allow them to a certain point, unless there's some safety issues involved. But
yeah,
great to watch Erica and those guys just get up those cargo nets and in the walls and just pull themselves up, and it's just wonderful.
The videos that More Heart Than Scars posts of like Erica and everybody going over the obstacles, it's just awe-inspiring. Like you just sit there and like, wow, I have absolutely no excuse for.
Well, I was going to say, even one of the most recent ones that I think is even aired now in Spartan UK and Spartan Europe is of us in, could have been Charlotte last year, where Erica's on a slip wall. I mean, and it's muddy because they are actually running water across and to make it muddy. Yeah, go Spartan. But I'm telling you, that video, when you see her, it's her pulling herself up that rope. I mean, yes, we've got the harness on her and we've got someone on the other side of the slip wall securing her. But as far as getting herself up that wall, she's doing that of her own power.
That is so amazing.
To catch, and got people at the top to grab her when she comes over, but she gets up that slip wall by herself. And it was so great to see that over in Spartan UK and Spartan Europe, I think. I know I've seen a couple of the pop up on Instagram, and I'm like, yes, that's so awesome. The people of the world are seeing, what we're doing. I mean, but more importantly, what adaptive athletes can do.
Yes, and for it to go to UK and Europe, I mean, that gives adaptive athletes over there and overseas hope and like, oh yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can race. I can do what I see my friends and everybody else doing. So it's great. It's amazing. And it kind of makes me like ecstatic to be like, yes, it's happening finally.
That's right. It's wonderful. It truly is.
I know I've been on course and I've seen like Casey, his last name escapes me, but I've seen him on course. I've seen, adaptive athletes like from like Wounded Warrior. Huh?
Casey, the double leg amputee?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I've seen him on course. It's like one of those times that you usually see them when you feel like you're at the lowest and you don't want to go on, and you see them, you're like, okay, if they can do it, I can keep doing it.
I haven't
Oh, hey, puppy.
My name is Abby.
Aw.
Go find mommy. Go find mommy. Trying to get up in my lap. So I was like, oh.
He's a little love. There was who was the dog that was on course that Roger kind of had a little bit of a connection with?
Sydney. Sydney the Aussie. Sydney is the service dog for one of our favorite people, Desiree Rincon. She was with us. She sang the national anthem before the race on Saturday, and she brought Sydney out, and Roger fell in love with Sydney because, well, what was supposed to be just a ditch crossing wound up turning into almost a little creek. Well, it was a creek crossing. It was waist deep because of all the rain. And as Roger was stepping down into this, he slipped and just kind of used it as a slide. I mean, he just slid right down into the water. But the moment he hit the water, Sydney just ran right over and licked his face. And he just talked about Sydney the rest of the race. And he said, "Did you see what that dog did, that puppy did?" I said, "Yes, sir. That is what she is supposed to do because she is a trained service dog. And when someone falls or stumbles, she comes over and makes sure you're okay." And he just thought that was the greatest thing. He'd never been around a service dog before.
Oh, that's so awesome. And he wants to do more races. Am I correct?
Oh, yes, he does. Listen, I could show you messages right. He was messaging me today. He is now geared up for, I know, for the next race in Florida in his hometown in July. And if someone can get him to May, I think he's going to do a race in Florida that we're going to in May. He even reached out to Julie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, he messaged me first and he sent me a picture of her logo. He's like, "What is this race?" And so I told him who it was. And so Julie was telling me just yesterday, Roger reached out to me. I was like, well, he has fallen in love with obstacle course racing. And if somebody can get him from Florida to Mississippi or to Georgia or Chattanooga, we'll get him through the course.
That's so
I wish we had the funds to just go down there and get him, but we're still working on that.
You'll get there. We'll get there. That's so awesome. Like I said, reading that story just made me it warmed my heart. It made me cry. And I love seeing stuff like that. And, like Dawn has talked to you guys about and everything. Dawn, Mike, and I have discussed it as well. Getting out there to the East Coast to race with you guys is one of the top priorities on our lists of things to do. I think that's just an experience that we all want to have, but I think it's something that most people need to have. It's very humbling to watch, let alone I can't imagine what it's like to be right there.
It is truly amazing. And I know one of the speaking of, we mentioned earlier Asheville, and that's one of the venues that Don had talked about you guys coming out for, because Asheville is almost like the homecoming race for More Heart Than Scars, because it's pretty much in Zach's backyard. And this year they moved it a little bit further east and to the farm that he and Lauren have. And we even have more camping space for people to come and hang out, because that's what we have done in the past 5-6 years is whenever the actual race has happened, Zach says, everybody could just come and bring a tent, bring your sleeping bags. You're going to stay at my house. And we literally have pitched tents in his yard. And we've had upwards of 20 people staying there on a Friday night and Saturday night. And so we're just going to do that again this year. And if there is one race that you guys, I hope, can come out for, it would be the Asheville race.
Asheville race.
End of July this year, I believe. I'd have to go back and look, but it's during one of the hotter months.
Well, I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that.
I know, but I'm just telling you, if you're not used to humidity, that's something you'll have to get prepared for. But it will be warm. I can promise you that.
I'm okay with that as I'm sitting here with snow outside my window right now.
Wow. We've just got rain here now, and it's about 65 or something. I don't know.
So
But we're going
jealous.
to plummet this weekend again. So anyway,
What is your training when it comes to helping adaptive athletes? Do you change how you train for a race or?
oh yes. First of all, with us, and especially when we have someone in a wheelchair on course, or someone like Chloe, who literally, it's a step-by-step race, and at any given moment, she'll just say, I need to stop. We have to train for endurance, and so that is the bulk of my training. Because I mean, of course, I'm doing weight training for strength training to be able to lift our athletes when they need to be lifted. But it truly helps to have the endurance, because we can be on a race course from 8 to 10 hours
Yeah.
at a time. And, it's been proven time and time again that people who they think it's so glamorous and grandioso to be on the course with us. And then once they get out there, they just see how slow we're moving. And they're just like, wow, I had no idea. I'm so tired. It's like, well, that's why we try to tell you, you have to train for endurance, and also having your nutrition on point to have the fuel to go that many hours on course.
Yeah.
That's really, it's simple. Just, we train for strength, but mainly train for endurance.
Yeah. I've learned through racing, I take my hydration pack on all races. I don't care if it's a sprint, a super, beast. Always have my hydration pack, and I always have snacks inside my pack just in case. But yeah, I always have, snacks or in my hydration pack. It's just my go-to no matter what, just because I never know how long I'm going to be on course, and I don't want to get hangry because it's not nice.
No hangry. We've witnessed hangers on the course before, so we preach that as well. Bring your water, bring your snacks, bring food. So we have that on course with us.
I think that's key, and like you said, that endurance, which
Okay.
we're all like learning that that's a huge thing, because you never know what's going to happen on course.
Right, we do not.
So we have Jacksonville coming up. That's going to be first for you, correct?
It's going to be what? I'm sorry.
It's going to, and your list of races coming up, Jacksonville's going to be the first one.
Sorry, you had kind of almost broken up there for a minute. Yeah, Jacksonville is next on our radar in just under 3 weeks now, and then I think we've got a couple here in March. I'm going to my cheat sheet because I got my schedule pulled up right here. I had them all memorized. Yeah, we've got Swamp Battle, March 27th, down in Florida. Yay, warm. We're going to be there March 27th. And then the next one is, the Charlotte race, which we thought was going to be Josh's first race. But Charlotte is in Erica's backyard, so that's a must race. We'll be there April 10th and 11th, because I think it's a double sprint, which is unusual because normally it's a super and sprint weekend. But regardless, we'll be there both days for that. And then Julie's first race, April 17th.
Yay! And where?
Phoenix race, OCR.
Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, well, that's easy. Just Joey McGlamory on Facebook, Joey McGlamory on Instagram, and Twitter as well. I think it's at Joey McGlamory.
Awesome.
And people can always find us, More Heart Than Scars, on it's More Heart Than Scars Official on Instagram, and then More Heart Than Scars on Facebook.
And I think it's More Heart Than Scars on TikTok as well, because I'm on.
Oh my gosh, yes. he is an avid TikToker. He loves TikTok.
I don't blame him. I get lost on it all the time.
He TikToks, I think, 10 times a day. I mean, even today, I don't know if it probably did make it onto TikTok, but on my way home, it said, Zach Pabin is live. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's he doing now? He was making a post about a post. He was digging holes in the yard out by where the horse pen is, because they just got an additional pony, a mini pony. And so he's putting up more fences, but he just being his goofy self, he came on, he said, I'm on making a post about a post. So, and I'm sure at some point it'll make it over to TikTok as well.
That is so great. That cracks me up. I think that's pretty much, we've touched bases on everything that I've been thrown at me. I got messages from Dawn. Don't forget to ask him about this. Don't forget to ask about this.
That's why I was asking Julie, was there anything that she wanted? Hi, Abby. That's one thing she was asking. Let me see. Just about the adaptive teams for sure. So I covered all the bases. We got all the dates for Julie's races, and just excited. I'm really, really excited about being in this position as a director of adaptive athletics for Phoenix Race OCR.
That's absolutely phenomenal. And I can't wait to see the direction you take it and the teams that start coming out to be a part of that race series.
I want to see that happen. I would love to see 20 wheelchairs on the race course in Mississippi on April 17th.
That would be amazing. Amazing.
Yes, it would truly be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me, Joey. It's great to talk to you too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And I can't wait to catch up with you after Jacksonville to find out about what's going on there in your
I would love to have you guys on for that, and maybe Josh as well. Who knows?
That would be awesome. Absolutely incredible. Well, again, thank you, and I hope you have an amazing evening, and I can't wait to.
Well, yeah, as you're turning into the early evening out there, so
yes.
enjoy the day.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Joey.
Very welcome. Talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.